Imagine finding a moon that does not belong where it is. A world moving the wrong way. A frozen body circling a giant planet like it was never meant to be there. A moon so strange, so cold, and so isolated that the deeper you look at it, the less natural it feels. This is Triton, Neptune's largest moon, one of the strangest objects in the solar system, and maybe one of the most unsettling, because Triton does not behave like a normal moon. Most large moons form around their planets. They are born from the same material, inside the same system, following the same general order. They belong there. Their orbits make sense. Their history feels connected. Triton is different. It moves around Neptune in a backward orbit. That one fact changes everything, because a large moon should not be doing that if it formed naturally around its planet. A retrograde orbit like Triton strongly suggests something darker. It was not born beside Neptune. It was taken. Triton is most likely a captured world, a wandering object from the outer solar system, probably from the same distant region that gave us Pluto and other icy bodies dragged into Neptune's gravity and trapped forever. And once you understand that, Triton stops feeling like a moon. It starts feeling like a prisoner. From far away, Triton can look simple, bright, frozen, quiet, frozen, quiet. Just another cold world lost in the darkness beyond the inner planets. But that first impression is misleading, because Triton is not just cold, it is wrong in ways that stay with you. Its surface temperature is around minus 235 degrees Celsius. That makes Triton one of the coldest known worlds in the solar system. Cold enough that nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide can exist as ice on the surface. Cold enough that the landscape begins to feel less like a place and more like a chemistry experiment left too long in deep space. And yet Triton is not dead. That is the unsettling part. For something so distant, so frozen, and so isolated, Triton still shows signs of activity. When Voyager 2 flew past Neptune in 1989, it saw something remarkable on Triton's surface. Dark streaks, smooth icy plains, strange terrain, and most disturbingly, active geyser-like plumes rising from the surface. Think about that. One of the coldest worlds we know is not silent. It was erupting. Not with fire the way Io does. Not with glowing lava and rivers of molten rock. Triton's activity is quieter, stranger, and in some ways more eerie. Its plumes likely come from volatile materials, like nitrogen being heated beneath the surface, and then erupting upward, sending dark material across the ice. This is not the violence of flame. It is the violence of deep cold under pressure. And that may be why Triton feels so unsettling. It does not scream its danger. It whispers it. Its surface is covered in frozen plains, ridges, rough terrain, and strange features that suggest a long and complicated history. Some regions appear relatively young, which means Triton has likely been reshaped more recently than a world that distant and cold should have been. Something has been at work there. Something inside it, or beneath it, or locked into its chemistry and orbit. That should not be easy to ignore, because frozen worlds are supposed to become still. Triton didn't, and that raises a more disturbing possibility. Beneath all that ice, Triton may once have had, or may still have, some level of internal activity driven by tidal forces from Neptune after its capture. When Neptune stole Triton, that captured orbit would have caused enormous stress. The moon's path would not have been neat or stable at first. It would have been chaotic, distorted, violent. And all of that orbital chaos would have generated heat inside Triton, enough heat to reshape it, enough heat to alter its surface, maybe enough heat to build an interior history far stranger than a frozen moon should have. That is one reason scientists think Triton's capture was not just dramatic. It may have been catastrophic for Neptune's entire moon system. A large captured object does not quietly enter orbit without consequences. Its arrival could have destabilized older moons, disrupted the system, and destroyed worlds that were there before it. In other words, Triton may not have simply joined Neptune's family. It may have ruined it. That gives the moon a darker identity. It is not just an outsider. It may be the reason Neptune's original system no longer looks the way it once did. A captured world that arrived from deep space and changed everything. And then it stayed, forever circling in the wrong direction. That image alone is powerful enough to carry the whole moon. But Triton becomes even stranger when you look at what it resembles. In size, composition, and overall character, Triton has often been compared to Pluto, and that comparison matters because it suggests Triton may be a cousin of the dwarf worlds in the Kuiper Belt, an object that once belonged to the outer darkness beyond Neptune before being dragged inward. So when you look at Triton, you may be looking at a captured dwarf planet-like world forced into orbit around a giant planet that was never its home. That makes Triton feel less like a normal moon and more like a stolen relic from the edge of the solar system. And Neptune's presence above it would only make that feeling worse. From Triton's surface, Neptune would hang in the sky as an enormous blue giant, far more massive and imposing than Earth's moon ever appears to us. It would not feel decorative, it would feel dominant. A permanent reminder that Triton's fate is no longer its own, because Neptune did not just capture Triton, it still controls it. And the future of Triton may be even darker than its past, because Triton is slowly spiraling inward, very slowly, over immense spans of time. Its orbit is expected to decay. One day, far in the future, Triton may move close enough to Neptune to cross a deadly boundary known as the Roche limit. If that happens, Neptune's gravity could tear Triton apart, not damage it, not scar it, destroy it, and the remains could spread into orbit and form a new ring system around Neptune. Think about what that means. This moon may have been stolen from deep space, forced into the wrong orbit, use gravity to help reshape an entire system, and may one day be ripped to pieces by the same planet that captured it. Triton's story begins with abduction and may end with dismemberment. That is not a peaceful moon. That is one of the darkest orbital stories in the solar system. And yet Triton is also beautiful. That is part of the trap. Its surface can appear bright and clean in images, covered in pale nitrogen frost, with patches of pinkish and darker material. It has smooth plains that look almost calm from orbit. It has a frozen beauty that makes it feel elegant at first glance. But Triton keeps doing this. It presents you with stillness, then hides something far more disturbing underneath, because beauty on Triton is not comfort. It is distance. It only looks peaceful because we are too far away to feel how unnatural it really is. A moon captured from darkness, a retrograde orbit, frozen eruptions, a shattered moon system behind it. A future that ends in destruction. Layer by layer, Triton becomes less like a moon, and more like a warning about what gravity can do when it takes something that does not belong. And that is what makes this world so powerful in the imagination. Other moons frighten us because they are volcanic, irradiated, buried beneath ice, or flooded with storms. Triton frightens us differently. It feels displaced. There is something deeply unsettling about a world that seems to have been taken out of one cosmic setting and imprisoned in another. A moon that may once have drifted freely among distant icy bodies, now locked in orbit around a giant planet it never chose. It makes the solar system feel less tidy than we want it to be, less orderly, less peaceful, less permanent, because Triton proves that worlds can be stolen. And once that idea enters your mind, the whole outer solar system feels darker. This is not just a frozen moon beyond Neptune. It is evidence that even giant planets can act like thieves, reshaping their systems not only by forming worlds, but by taking them. And the most haunting part is that Triton may still be changing. Even today, the frozen surface, the volatile ices, the thin atmosphere, and the strange seasonal effects all suggest a world that is not entirely settled. Triton has a thin atmosphere mostly of nitrogen, which can expand and contract with temperature changes. Frost can shift, surface patterns can evolve. The moon remains active enough to resist the simplicity we expect from something so cold. It refuses to become just another dead rock in the dark. And maybe that is why Triton stays in your head once you really understand it, because it combines too many disturbing ideas in one place. It is stolen. It is frozen. It is active. It is temporary. And it is doomed. That combination is hard to beat. So what does all of this mean for us? It means one of the strangest moons in the solar system may also be one of the most tragic. It means not every moon belongs to the planet it orbits. It means the outer solar system is not just a quiet collection of frozen objects drifting in peace. It is a place where gravity can capture, disturb, reshape, and eventually destroy entire worlds. Triton is not just Neptune's moon. It is the moon Neptune stole. A captured world from the edge of the solar system, a frozen body with signs of strange activity. A moon moving in the wrong direction beneath the shadow of a giant blue planet. A world with a past that feels violent and a future that feels inevitable. And maybe that is the most unsettling part of all. Triton does not feel like it is where it belongs. It feels like a world that was taken from somewhere else, dragged into a colder fate, and forced into a story that may only end one way. Not with escape, not with peace, but with destruction. But with destruction.